I'll quickly address this. Not that I need to. Not that I need to, but we put everything on the floor over here. I won't even play the episode because I just can't give a lame ass nigga no type of airtime. A nigga who just you know I'm talking about the Brilliant Idiot episode. So Brilliant Idiots that not salute to Charlamagne. He got the Black Effect podcast network going on there, but clearly he's struggling to find the next Tax Tone. Okay, we all know Tax Stone was a prolific podcaster that came from the street perspective, but he was just more than that. He was someone who had a way with words, but also was about that life and about that action. He was a one of one. He created a whole wave and a whole different, realm that he was bringing podcasting to. We all got to say, despite his conviction recently, Tax Stone was and is a podcasting legend. Now, understand that Charlamagne the God has the Black Effect Network. And while trying to build out a roster, it is important for him to try to gain the talent of people that could possibly fit certain molds. And I've seen him grab some of the bottom feeders of this industry. When I mean bottom feeders, the people without, they don't move the needle. The people that essentially don't have any audience. But it's probably in hopes to think that they might be Tax Stone, because there was a time Tax Stone didn't have it. In the words of Charlamagne, and I got to use his words to him, I watched the episode. I didn't know who this nigga was too much. Actually, I had to remind myself because the nigga was mad. I think the only time I communicated with him, he was mad because he said I posted something and he wanted to get tagged. Now, this is a 50-year-old man acting like a groupie. Please tag me, please tag me, please tag me, please tag me. That's who the new signee to Charlamagne's network. So I got to use Charlamagne's own words when it comes to him. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it, Charlamagne. That ain't it. So I'll leave those words for this obsessed groupie that was on Charlamagne's podcast, dying to swing like Tarzan from my dick and my balls. They were giving him the platform. Hey, promote yourself. You're the future of Black Effect. No, let's talk about academics. Academics. I think Akademiks. I don't think he makes good academic. It's okay, my brother. It's okay. That was a very interesting. Well, it wasn't an interesting conversation. Even you were just obsessed, but it was interesting how everybody took the conversation. I'll tell you why. I think Andrew saw it for what it is. Number one, rehashing old talking points. You're still talking about the Grim Reaper? Brother, grow up. And you look older than everybody in the room. Grow the fuck up. Today I sat with Vic Mensa, somebody who I had issues with. That's called growth. You're over here talking about what I did in 2013. You're obsessed with my old content more than me. Grow the fuck up. Get off little baby's dick. Grow up. Now, it was very interesting because I think Andrew easily identified that this nigga was just a straight hater. Obsessed. It was an obsessed boyfriend. Just looking to try to derail all good conversations because of some type of personal vendetta. And I understood Charlamagne's angle because at the end of the day, he signed this fucking loser. He signed the loser. So we gotta act like there's some worth to it. But let me make one very big correction. And I understand what's going on now. I see a lot of people who looked at me as Teflon for the longest. They saw the Roots Picnic show. And now they want to contextualize everything now. Oh, he's the internet guy. It doesn't translate. This. Great. I understand. I'm taking it in stride. It will be used to fuel me. But there was a piece of that conversation that was so incredibly irrational, retarded, and I texted Schultz about this, and I'm gonna assume, just out of respect for Charlamagne, he was just playing dumb to promote this nobody wannabe. Because there's no way he believes some of the things I saw him not into. I'll give an example. That somehow Akademiks is making, or first and foremost, that somehow my streams, or what I do, period, is on somewhat of a lesser caliber than even the Brilliant Idiots podcast. If you think I see it as such, y'all are smoking dope. Because I heard certain words being thrown around, and I realized it was a very dishonest conversation. So we could open this conversation up completely. And this is not out of vitriol, because this is so much respect. You know when it comes to speaking, especially about Charlamagne, and I love Schultz. Respect. But we do have to really address some of these things. Because y'all had this clown talking about something that y'all was keying, and yes, I don't know if maybe he was giving that Taxstone energy. And anytime these little quasi-street niggas come into the conversation, they bully intellectuals and logic. But that's why I'm here. This is why I've made actually a name. Because all of those niggas come across as ignorant. And they could talk with a hint of aggression and a hint of like this veil of threatening, but they still look like an idiot when they're going up against ideas and logic. It never fails. I heard them talk about replay value. We could talk about that. I don't know if people are trying to do the soapbox thing, but I'll clarify it. We all talk about current events. So let me be very clear. My stream, The Breakfast Club, excluding the interviews. My stream, The Breakfast Club, current event topics, Brilliant Idiots, Hell of a Week, even flagrant without some of the great guests. There is no replay value to some of this shit. Let's not try to content shame now. Not because I'm doing this live, just kicking it on a live stream camera, and y'all doing it whether you're on iHeart's mic or you're doing it in any studio. It's no difference. Ain't nobody going back 6 months like, oh my God, I gotta go. This ain't Breaking Bad, my nigga. This ain't Game of Thrones. Let's just keep it 100. So I don't know. I heard this clown try to interject it, and I'm like, are we serious? let's not start this whole, I always said some people, they become elitist when they talk about content. That's what this loser was, except nobody even knows a single original thought this fucking idiot even thought. We don't even know what his thought is. Even his thoughts about me was regurgitated from the talking points of the niggas who have consistently just said the same thing without even advancing the ball. By watching that conversation, everything made sense to me. The loser's obsession with me came full circle when I realized why he's upset at me is why I've always been successful. I heard him say, streaming, what is that? What is that? What is it? What is that? That was cute. I won't even sit here and even entertain that thought. Because for an old, stupid nigga like you, you might be more familiar with this saying. The game is to be sold, not told. And I seen Andrew try to explain it a couple times. And I said, Andrew, don't chill, Andrew. Don't, you can't give him the game. You gotta let him crash and fail. You can't do that. Trust me. Let me give Andrew some credit. One of the most brilliant people in actually noticing socially. He doesn't know hip hop like that. But you know what he knows? He knows the ebbs and the flows, and he knows when culture is moving and when something is happening. It's the reason why Andrew got introduced to me by brilliant idiots, and he's made a 5 times bigger podcast than Flagrant 2. That's a smart motherfucker. That's a nigga who realizes this is a market that's happening. I'm going to triple down on this. I see people coming from here. I said there's a lack in the market. Joe Rogan just went exclusive. Let me get some of the people who smart. I said that to Andrew mad times. But the game is to be sold, not told. Somebody says Alex was slick hating. I think that's incorrect. I think Alex, and I listen to Flagrant 2 all the time. I love Flagrant 2. Alex is usually critical of me. And even Alex was seeing the hate. He was like, God damn it, nigga. Why are you so obsessed? Or why are you whatever? Anyway. To answer some of the things that I felt like, I think Schultz, but Schultz was really putting on a good defense, lawyer case for me. But I'll say this about some of the critiques homie had. Niggas like you feel because you're from a certain environment, you deserve to be the person to tell a story. I've always said, DJ Ghost my mans. Act gonna give it up like this. He gonna give it up like that. It's the differences that make everything great. Niggas like you, instead of putting in the work to become a DJ Ghost, to become a 1090 Jake, or whoever who came from that background, you think that you are owed the respect, the audience, the attention, and think you should be paid and rewarded as such by the people who, for the most part in the industry, are just trying to capitalize off platforms. Well, let me tell you this, sir. And Charlamagne, you should probably echo this to every other street nigga you sign trying to be in the next tax stone. Tell them this. If you don't work harder than Ak, shut the fuck up about him. Because ain't nothing in this fucking game is gifted. At the end of the day, I sleep less than you. I work harder than you. And I was very disrespected, even at the very notion, I'm not no new nigga in this game. I told you it's Big Act now. Y'all niggas stop playing with me. Period. I don't know if the list ruffles some niggas' feathers. Let me tell you this straight. This is my 13th year doing what I'm doing. I don't care what y'all categorize that. It's my 13th year doing what I'm doing. Bitch, I looked at your shit. You've been doing this shit for a year. I said to Schultz, Schultz, imagine you did comedy for 10 years and some bitch ass nigga come in after a year saying that what you do ain't real comedy. Newsflash. What I do on this live stream, I equate to. And by the way, I get paid like it, so I don't give a fuck about saying it. I equate to a late night TV show, a fucking syndicated radio show, or a big time podcast. It's the same fucking thing. I've figured out the business for it. I've done it. No fancy studios make nothing happen. It's all about the content. The people come for this. They were here before I bought the $2 million mansion. They were here when I was in the $2,500 a month apartment. If you can't understand that part of it, it's the reason why Tucker Carlson at his fucking house doing a show on Twitter. Again, for you, old head, this is the only time I won't even mention your name. That's how irrelevant you fucking are. This is going to be your second biggest moment other than when you actually talk to Lil Baby. The game is to be sold to a nigga like you, not told. You'll never get to where I'm at by hating on me. You'll only get there by outworking me. But I could tell you a lazy nigga already. Let's end this conversation. Let's do it, man. I was gonna give no bars, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you gotta just let people know what it is, and also the content shaming gotta stop. I know niggas who's doing voiceovers on YouTube and documentaries that I'd rather listen to than niggas with $15 million production and scripts and shit like that. At the end of the day, most of this shit not getting monetized on any platform but the internet. Before I get off it, I give homie one credit. And I've always said this is the thing I believe is the most threatening when it comes to me. I've always said, I'm not the end, but I'm the beginning. After me, there's going to be much more. But what's been started is a change that y'all can't control. I started doing what I had to do to get to where I am because I realized I was in the bootlicking, interning, whatever that was going to work at some radios. They probably wouldn't even fuck with me. I don't know nobody. I don't really, like you could call it not going outside. I don't network. I didn't know nobody in those type of places. Right now, there's a nigga in Idaho. There's a nigga in Wyoming. There's a nigga in Oklahoma. There's a nigga in New Mexico. There's a nigga in California. There's a nigga in Seattle, Washington. And they got a pretty good take about this internet shit. They got a pretty good take about hip hop. They got a pretty good take about politics or social media or just even sports or whatever it is. And those people will make it. So I heard him say one thing. He said, yo, it's when Akademiks posted, everybody posted. That's what got your panties in a bunch. I don't know what to say. Don't be a dinosaur. You're either going to adjust, learn to deal with it, and also thrive in it. But it doesn't stop. Even if Akademiks goes away, there'll be somebody else. This revolution is never coming back to the other side. Salute to all people who thrive with independent media. Whether you're an Instagram page, whether you're a meme page, whether you are a Twitter, I don't want to call them like meme page, but it's like I call them pretty much Twitter news page. Whether you're a commentator, whether you're a reviewer, whatever you are, let me just say this to y'all. The platform that we have ain't nothing bigger than YouTube. There was a time that I felt invalidated. I used to feel invalidated. And the only reason I'm saying this is not for that loser ain't gonna be shit. Facts. He won't be shit. But it's for the people who, I know how I used to feel invalidated because I wasn't on a radio show. I used to think I needed to be there. I used to feel invalidated because I wasn't in certain, like, oh shit, I need to be here to feel like I made it. And there's probably things for y'all as well. Just know most of those things become old fast. I'll tell you how I know I made it. Everything I was looking for, the metrics in me trying to figure out if I made it, I was looking at the wrong places. It's damn near almost 3 a.m. and we got 15,000 people watching. If this ain't making it, what is? What more do I need? And I'll address one last thing, even though I said I was going to. I do that a lot, right? I seen he was trying to make a point about attention versus customers or whatever the case is. And this is why I say I welcome all scrutiny and also challenges, because I'm a little bit different. I'm like a quasi type of hybrid. I'm not just like a media entity. I'm like this media personality, but some people kind of give me the gravity and weight of almost kind of being seen as like, well, he's kind of like almost like a rapper, in a sense, you know what I mean? And not to gas myself up, but again, to use some of these traditional outlets and compare it, that's media has always just thrived on attention. You might have some people who they have like loyal fan bases, and even to that extent, how loyal, right? But that's what kind of media is. So, like obviously at times, my ego gets inflated, this and third, and this is why, like, I take if it's an L, I take my L in stride. I took my Roots Picnic L in stride. Keep it moving. Let's build back. Let's go do some show, and that's just me challenging myself, because the reality, and this was another reason I saw this nigga vigorously dick sucking like Kai and Aiden and everybody, who, by the way, two streamers who both have acknowledged to me like, yo, Ak, like, you one of the goats who, like, before we even started doing this shit, we were seeing you doing this shit, right? But those are my guys, and they're way bigger than me in the space at the moment, too. But it's people like that make people like me or even Kai or Aiden run back into a hole. And I'm going to tell you, let me explain. Because in reality, without leaving this room, without Kai leaving this room, without Aiden leaving this room, or any streamer, or any really YouTuber, we're making really good money. I don't need to go to Roots Picnic. That's not nothing that's like my assistant's still asking me like, hey, have you confirmed that the deposits hits? There's so many. I don't know. Like, I gotta go check. I gotta make sure they even paid me. But it's not about the money when I'm wanting to go out there. That's me wanting to get out of my comfort zone. The same way how I want to get out of my. I told y'all before I got on Everyday Struggle, nigga, we went on Everyday Struggle. Me and Joe was getting paid like $15,000 a month. Nigga, I was making $100,000 a month on YouTube. Think about the logic. I'm making $100,000 a month on YouTube. We went on Everyday Struggle. They paying us $15,000 a month. I felt it was another level. Well, not even level, but it was another challenge for me. So I've always stepped out of my comfort zone. So I enjoyed. But I'm not going to sit here and let any of y'all even just in a half breath try to act like what I've accomplished or what I've helped start makes anybody a failure because that facet isn't fully conquered yet. And then also, I'll give a challenge to that sucker. Matter of fact, I'll give the challenge to Charlamagne. Charlamagne, if you would believe in all the bullshit he was selling, the next time y'all do y'all podcast festival at Black Effect, let him headline while the artist performing. I would love to see that. Other than that, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, I just had to give homie a couple bars. Really, I ain't gonna lie, I was bored tonight. All right, we should probably hit a few more things. Spam a couple more topics, chat. I'm glad I did that without liquor too. I had to break this nigga down, like, you know what I mean? Because if it was the shouting act, it would have probably, they'd be like, oh, nah. All right.